Yeah, what do I do if I have to cough? Hello, welcome. Welcome to my webinar. Thank you for joining me today. It's lovely to see all of your faces here. This one here is called Stepping Stones Towards Changing Your Life. Some of you may have seen me speak before. Some of you already have my books. Hands up if you have my books already. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And hands up if you find that they have been helping you. Great, lovely. Okay, now another one here. Hands up if you've got them but you haven't used them yet. Oh, nobody. Well, that's if you're being honest. So let's see. You've got to remember that they are a direct line to help you in your life, no matter what's occurring. So tonight, what are we going to talk about? Stepping stones towards changing your life. Everything that we do is about you. Your whole life is about you. Everything that happens every day is about you. Even if you think it's for other people, it's also about you. So we're going to bring you back into the space where you begin to realize just how powerful you are. But not only that, how many people pull your strings and how often you're actually able to create your joy and your happiness and the life that you deserve. Okay, so let's see where we're going. How do you know if this webinar is for you? Well, very easy really. If what you're attracting is not fulfilling you and you feel stuck in a rut, then it's for you because it's very likely that you've missed some triggers along the way. If you don't know how to take your life to the next level, it's also for you because remember, we work very hard. We work very hard, we do the best we can, but no matter what we change, nothing changes. And actually, we talk further about that later on. Okay, what about work, health, and family? If they're getting you down, hands up. Hands up if no matter what you try, you just end up exactly the same. Exactly. Hands up if you're actually happy in your job. Not as many as there should be. How many of you find that you're actually just working for the purpose of earning money? Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. I think sometimes, sometimes we can all admit to a bit of that because we do need money in our purse. But the thing is, we forget that we work for a very long time and that the work we do, we should be enjoying what we do. Half the time we're working hard to line somebody else's pockets and you begrudge what you do. Then that affects you too. So we'll talk about that later. What about if no matter how hard you try, life is an uphill battle? Or if depression is becoming a regular occurrence? Do you know depression at the moment almost seems like an in word? So many people dip in and out of it. You know, that when you see them, they might actually seem as though they're okay. But a lot of people even are battling with depression. They don't show it on the outside because they like to show a face that everything is all right. But do you know what? Very often it isn't. What about if you're bullied at home or at work? Or if your past overshadows your future? If you just keep skipping back into the past, no matter how you try, to the point that actually you don't have control of your future. Also, if you want to stress less, are you aware that if you stress less and you stay at a point that's more balanced, then you actually look younger, you act younger, your energies are higher? I've got some nodding heads there. Exactly right. What about if you can't find the love or happiness you deserve? Now that's a biggie for a lot of people because again, we were promised a happy ever after. And not everybody in this lifetime will find the love they deserve. We'll talk about that later too. Maybe not today, but over the course of these webinars that will be coming forward, because you can begin to see now already that actually we're going to cover a huge variety of topics. And all of those, the common denominator is you. All of them link back into your pain line, into your line of lack or your line of abundance. And the thing is, what we'll do is we'll help you understand how you can control that. What about if anger too often controls you? Now, anger is as natural as breathing, as singing and dancing and laughing, but it has to be in the right proportion. And if you're not accessing it properly, then you'll find that it will come forward when you least expect it, when you least need it. And other people's constantly overstepping your boundaries. You know, are you a helper? Do you find that people are always asking you to do way too much than you should be doing? That's another thing that we'll talk about later on. So all of these things, if you can say yes to one or just a few of them, then this webinar is for you. Maybe you've read millions of self-help books. Maybe you've listened to tapes and watched movies and all sorts of things. You know, I've been in shows when I was in London and all over the place, actually. I get people coming up to me saying, do you know what? We've read so many things, but I can honestly say that it's only your work that has put a key there and helped me understand what I didn't before. And because what I do is channeled, it's almost like somebody dropping a brick on your head and suddenly you wake up to things you didn't even realize you were doing. So this is beyond self-help. This is you coming back to access your happiness now. This is you coming back to where you should be to be more in control of your life. Now, some of you have seen me before. Most of you here have seen me before, and that's why you've come today. But the reason we're doing a webinar is so that it can go all the way across the world to people who haven't seen me before, to people who haven't even heard of me before. So why should they watch me? What's so special about me? What is it that I've got that other people don't have? Well, the thing is that I'm actually working on my soul agenda. The whole purpose of my life now is to help as I have been helped. I'm giving back to others in the name of what I've been through myself and information that has come to me from higher levels, things that I didn't know before. And I will help you to access this information too. Because the thing is, everyone deserves to be happy, and so do you. You deserve it. You deserve the best that life has to offer. Not because you're so great, not because I'm so great, but because that is one of the fundamental structures of life, that we each have to receive our happiness. We each here searching for our heaven on earth. So when we're not here anymore and we go back to the realms of heaven, we can't be standing there and saying, well, how do I know my happiness wasn't there? Because you never gave it to me. I asked and I asked and I asked, but I never got this. So how do I know that my happiness wasn't there? Life gives us exactly what we ask for, but 125% of the time we don't even understand what we're asking for. We don't know what we had for dinner last night. We don't know what we want tonight. How on earth can we know where our happiness is? We're looking outwards to other people to find it, but we're the key. We are the only ones who can live our journey. No one else can live it for you. It's yours. You waited a long time to birth here. A long time. Everything had to be in place for you to come to birth here. After that, Again, it's up to you, but it depends on the building blocks within you and how you process data and information. Most of us are good, honest, hard-working people. We're still searching for the love we deserve. Along the course of my own journey, as I said earlier on, I've discovered many simple things that will turn you and your whole life around in an instant to get it working better, not to make you who you're not to make you so different that others around you think you're weird. Quite the opposite, because by the time I've finished with you, you'll actually understand how little you have control of your own life and how often others pull your strings or you bow to what they expect just to keep the peace. Why is that? Because you love and care too much, but in the wrong way, to the point where you can't say no, even if it's detrimental to what you need to achieve. Hands up if that's you. Yep, exactly. Exactly right. We're always doing too much. Change is not always as bad or as hard as we think. The very first thing we think of change is, oh no, more work, more effort, more trouble. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough energy. How are we going to do it? But the thing is, even with that, you've been looking at it in the wrong way. You've been looking at it purely from a physical perspective. If there was only the physical, if there was only what you could see, if we were the only driving forces of everything in our life, let's call it the vehicle of our life, then of course everything would fall on our shoulders. So we would be completely responsible. Excuse me a moment, I need to cough. Please excuse me. I'm actually harboring a chest infection, but it's not a problem. So here's the thing. We always expect change to be hard because that's what has always happened. So it is always hard because that's what we expect. But change has to happen. We're part of a world that is full of birth and decay. Everything has to pass, even good things. Again, because we find it so difficult to find love and happiness, and because these things are so fleeting, what happens is we try to hold on to what we have. We try to keep it the same, but nothing can stay the same. I spoke the other day, I remembered a memory of when I was a little girl, and I remember imagining to myself what it would be like if I could grow a jam jar shaped plant. So I tried and tried, and of course it was never going to be, because when you put a seed in a jam jar, A, it gets stifled, B, it doesn't get the nutrients it needs, but it just can't survive there. And if you plant a seed in the ground, it will put down its roots, but it has to grow in its own way. And we're the same. We look the same. We do the same things day in and day out. Yes, we have different choices and interests and abilities, but fundamentally, we're all living on the planet. We're the same. We're looking for love. We eat and we sleep. We even go to the bathroom. We have to work for what we need, and unless you don't. So again, we're the same. But equally, we're so very, 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 very different. What we'll discover is what will drive you. What is it that makes you who you are? Now, before we go any further, I want to say to you, please stay to the end. Please stay to the end of this webinar, because this work is channeled, because what I do is channeled. I never know what's going to come out or come up, because it just comes through and we give it. Again, you'll understand it more later on, but I'm working on more of a higher level here. As information comes in through to me, I pass it out, but it will touch you all individually in a way that you need to do with something that's going on in your life or your psyche right now. Are you all with me at the moment? Good, lots of nodding heads. I haven't lost you yet. No. And nobody's fallen asleep yet? No, that's good too. Lovely. So, can you please stay to the end? I want to say that this webinar is built in small stepping stones, single ones, to help you recognize and reach your goals. Each single one is very specific. Should you miss even one, your finished picture may remain incomplete. Not because the information wasn't there, but you know, it's how you process this information, the bits that stand out at you that will actually tick your boxes. So what I want to say is, please don't be tempted to leave too prematurely, as remember, I'm actually here to help you to let go of old baggage and pain that has in the past dragged you down and stopped you from achieving your potential. What will help you see is how you suffer, how you turn your pain into your life, how the next things you say are negative or different than how you would choose if you were in a better mood. So when you're feeling better, when you're recovering, you start stabilizing, strengthening, and everything in your life becomes more of your best. So again, we have lots of feedback, lots and lots of testimonials. As I said, I'm really grateful. Do you know what the funny thing is in this work? You know, I do work hard. We all work hard. And of course you get down days, but then the universe just comes in and just side swoops you, and somebody stands in front of you, a stranger who has no need to say anything at all. And the thing is that what we do when you're in the moment, when you're living life in the moment, you do what you do because that's what you do, for no other reason. That's just who you are. You do it and then you let it go. But when you're working on these levels, you can touch somebody's life, and 6 years, 10 years later, they'll come up to you and say, do you know what? I met you on this day, on this time, and you have no idea what you did for me. You have no idea how you change things around. And here on these slides, you can already see people already saying thank you. You know, the books, my books, Life is Calling and So It Begins, are to be used on a daily basis. They're like a telephone link, like a conversation with you and with life itself. And there's one lady here. Excuse me again, I'm just going to cough. There's one lady here who says that she's used it on a daily basis, and not only have the results been incredible, but what we do is we help people understand that the many simple things that are occurring, they see them from a different angle, so they don't become personal anymore. You actually begin to see them as messages of life, messages of the universe, talking to you, trying to help you, trying to wake up. I won't go through lots of these, but you can see, you know, if you visit my website, www.stephaniejking.com, you'll see lots on there, and there will be more coming up. And every time you join the webinar, you'll hear and see more. And remember as well, later on, we might actually have space for some questions. Okay, so start to think about the question that you would like to ask and send it in. And then what we'll do is we'll take them at random, and we'll choose some depending on time available. So remember, this webinar is about you. It's not about me. This little section was just to tell you a little about what I do, so that you know that I can help you. My soul sees your soul. My soul knows what you've been going through because I've been there too. But the difference is, now here's the thing, we're on a new level of life coming in. The end of times has finished. We've heard about Nostradamus. We've heard about the Mayan calendar. We've had so much proof about the end of times having come and gone. Excuse me again. We've had so much proof that the end of times has come and gone. but we're actually in a place of rebirth. And this is life trying to rebalance and readjust as it helps you work on the next levels that are coming in within the structure of your own life, unique to you, regardless of what's going on around you, but in line with the progression of your own life becoming better and finer. And the reason is that everything you do, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, gets converted back into energy, which then goes back into life, and then life sends you back more of the same thing. So you can see how important it is to begin to wake up, because if you're sending out life signals to life on a daily basis, if you're not understanding what you're asking for, then how on earth can you manage to bring in your happy ever after if you're not driving that bus? You wouldn't get on a bus and let somebody else drive it just to see where it goes. When you get on the bus, you have a destination. You know what you want to do at the end of it. But you also wouldn't go on a bus and let somebody go wherever they wanted. Again, you've got a route that you want to take and you aim for it and you go there. But a lot of us, even in our own lives, it's as though we have lost track of ourselves. We've lost track of our lives. It's easy to say, oh, everybody else is luckier than me. They always get the breaks and I don't. I do something wrong and I get caught. But you know what? We'll talk about that another time. There's so much going on here. Jackie Newcomb, hands up if you recognise her. Lovely. I've met her quite a few times actually. She's a lovely lady. But when she did this testimonial for me, I want to say thank you to Jackie, because she works with the angels too. So, you know, it's lovely. It's lovely to have all of these people just putting their stamp on my work and to say that it works. So now back to you, stepping stones that you must have and follow. So what we're going to do here, later on we'll be talking about modules, but we're going to produce some modules that you can purchase that will help you in your own life depending on what is going on and what you need. Remember, this is soul stuff. Remember, this is about karma falling away. Remember, this is you coming back to who you were always supposed to be, regardless of what has occurred in your life. So step one is knowing the value of all that you've been through. Now, to know the value means that you understand what it was for, that you know what it was for. Does that make sense? Lots of nodding heads there. Please excuse me, I just need to cough again, this silly infection. Just excuse me. I'm so sorry. Okay, step one, knowing the value of all you've been through and the value of why you went through it. But then you also need to understand yourself and your life. That means you understand why you attract what you do, why you went through the things that you did. Why is it still continuing? So this is stepping out of who you think you are, more into who you were always destined to be. In fact, who you really are, but you just didn't know. And it's like a phoenix, a hybrid coming forward. So let's just go back again. Knowing the value of all you've been through. Now, the first module is about realization. It's about helping you understand why you're attracting things that you don't want. So no matter what you change, nothing changes. Again, it's about helping you understand why you may be repeating old patterns and what you can do about it. Life always returns to the same old cycles. If you look at nature, it goes through spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter. And even as far as humanity is concerned, all the cycles are the same. We know what we're supposed to do when we're young. Then we know, or we think we know, what we're supposed to do when we're a teenager. Then we suddenly get pushed out of home and we go to work and it's expected that we know everything. Oh, then we have to fall in love. Oh, and have a family. Oh, and build up a house and get a car and a career. So you can see again how there's more expectation, more reaction than creation going on around us. Does that make sense? Who recognizes that? Come on, let's make sure that you're all still with me there. Who recognizes that pattern in their life? You know, you can even look at old people around you. They were young like us once. They had hopes and dreams and goals. But they had an excuse that their life became the way it was because, well, we were just getting over times of war and times of stress and times of hardship. But the thing is, you know, they were still building life in the country. But that's no excuse for us because we're in a place of plenty. We're in a place of abundance. Everything we want and way, way more than that is available always. So again, what do we do with that? So let's go back to our stepping stones. Understand yourself and your life is number 2. Why are you you? What makes you you? What makes you different from the lady sitting next to you? And over there, the gentleman sitting over there. What makes you different? What makes you different from your siblings? Do you have siblings? You don't. Oh, but you do. Okay. So what makes you different from siblings? We hear our parents all the time saying, well, I don't know what's the matter with my children. I brought them all up the same. I really don't know why they're so different. You know, we treated them identical. But even there are little secrets going on that we didn't understand. More is occurring within life, driving life, unseen, than we can ever begin to imagine. That's why, again, you know, children will copy their parents. The parents say, well, I don't know why they do it. I told them often enough they're not supposed to. But the parents are not even realizing what they're doing themselves on a normal daily basis that their children are copying. Nature is so much stronger than nurture. So much stronger. And again, at some stage, we can cover that. We've got so much to share with you. I feel so privileged. And I'm even grateful that you guys are sitting here, because if you weren't, I'd be talking to myself. So thank you all for joining me. I'm going to say that now in case I forget it later. Thank you all for joining me so much. So let's get back to this. Why are you you? What makes you tick? What makes you individual, inspired, unique? What rocks your boat? Why do you things you do? What do you need to understand or to let go of or to change to make your life work? What are the missing ingredients in your life? If you could change anything, what would it be? And again, it would surprise you that it wouldn't be what you expect, because you're probably putting your happiness in the hands of other people. Let's go back to the bus, without driving the bus yourself. Everything begins and starts with you. So let's work together to make your life work. What can we do? What can we do to change things? Well, that's what this is about. So again, it seems that we're back about me. What makes me so different? Okay, about 25 years ago, I had an awakening of my own. Previously to that, I'd had my own business. Well, even let's go back before that. If you go onto my website, you'll see a short biography. So previously to that, I was one of 5 children. My mum came over from another country, couldn't speak the language, and she met my dad. Well, my mum's German, and she met my dad in Germany. She came over to England and couldn't speak the language. Then she had 5 children. So I had a poor upbringing. I was working really from the age of 11 please excuse me again, this silly cough. I was working really from the age of 11, trying to help my dad try and take some of the burden off. So by the time I started work properly full time, I made sure I had a full-time job. I couldn't stay on at school. I had to leave. So by the time I started work, I'd already decided that no way was I ever going to have a tough life like my parents. I was going to work as hard as I can, build my life as great and as big as I could before I had a family, so at least I had a better chance, a better start. But the thing was, I had 4 jobs on the go. I worked day and night. I was married. My marriage didn't survive because I worked too much. And then I I opened up my own interior design business because I've always been arty and gifted with colour and my hands, and I can put my hands to anything. So I had my own interior design business that I lost to the first recession in the United Kingdom. Well, the first one in my life. So that would have been in the early 90s. So it took me a while to get over that. I lost my marriage too. Then I fell in love with somebody else and had another beautiful daughter as well. So I've got a son and a daughter. But then my life started to go wrong again. So I realized what was going on here. I felt broken, but I knew that if I broke, then all the things that I cared about broke too. I could see some nodding heads there. Exactly. I think there's some people there resonating with what I'm saying here. I knew nothing about any of what I'm teaching you now, but this word kept coming into my head, karma, and I knew nothing about it. All I knew was that I was broken. But if I actually broke, then all the things I cared about or the people I cared about would break too. Because if you look at your life, you're the central spoke. You're like the spine, like the central nervous system, out to everyone that you know and love. Everything connects to you. Everything stems from you. But everyone we interact with feels and is the same. So everybody is the center of their own universe. The difference was that I was beginning to realize that if I could see some things coming out in my children, just excuse me one moment. The difference was that if I could see some things coming out in my children that were reminiscent of myself, then actually it must be something I was doing, because I knew their upbringing was so different to mine. There was just no way that they could be the same, experiencing the same things, as it was so different to my life. So again, it brought me back to my own center place. Depressions, I was in depressions. I didn't know I was in them. Never knew, until all of a sudden I realized I came out of it. It was as though something was pulling me out. How can you know you're in a depression? You don't. The hole is so black and so big, you wouldn't even know. So there I was in my depression, and something was pulling me out. Then this word called karma came into my head that I knew nothing about. And from there, Spirit, angels, God, the universe took me by the hand. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's all unseen. They're all labels really, but we'll talk about that another time. But basically something was pulling me up and out of myself. I didn't know I was in that place again until I came out. And anyone who has depression will understand that. It's only when you step out the hole that you realize you fell into it again. So that's why I'm qualified, because everything that has birthed since then has come from this place, this place of higher guidance that I didn't even know existed. Everything I am, I channel. Everything I do, I channel. I live with one foot here on the ground, and the rest of me is up in the air in heaven. And that is really the only way to be. It doesn't matter if you believe that there's more to life or not. You know yourself, you know your thoughts, you know everything that's going on in your life, and you also know the things that you've been through. But I tell you what, it's really humbling when you realize that actually something knows you better than you even know yourself. Not only are you known for everything you've been through, you're also known for what you came here to achieve in this lifetime. What you came here to overcome, to work through, to get the gems and the golds that are yours out of the life that you've lived. And there's something that knows the driving thoughts behind your thoughts, behind your actions, behind your choices and decisions. That is so incredibly humbling, that something knows you better than your mum and dad knows you, better than you know you, better than your husband, your wife, your children. But do you know what? That something needs nothing back. It never asks for anything back ever. All it asks is that you do your best, that you get your happiness and the love that you have searched for forever. Why? Because then what you give it back is purer and finer. Purer and finer. Everything about you converts to energy. And when you're not here anymore, the only thing left will be your energy imprint. The only thing left will be what you have contributed to the mainframe of life that you've now left behind. So that brings us back to us again. It shows us how very real and important this life is. This life is the most important life you have ever lived, because we're in a place of such great change. We're very privileged if we're alive here now, because it's taken more than 28,000 years for this circle to come round again. And we are the ones elected, chosen. Whether we did it ourselves or we were chosen for our gifts, or whether by default, we are here. We are the ones who will take life forward. So again, let's come back to you. I can see some nodding heads there. It's quite shocking, isn't it? Because you wouldn't realize this is such a big deal. Suddenly we've gone beyond ourselves and how we get happy, how we find love and abundance and make our lives work. But suddenly we realize the reason behind it. So by the time you're looking at your life and you see what's occurring, actually that's just a symptom. That's already a symptom. It's like the event already finished. You're seeing the finished article, but we're looking at that as though it's the driving article, but it isn't. We react instead of create, and we have to come back to a place where we're creating life, not reacting. So let's come back to these stepping stones again that link in with you. Stepping stones that we're asking you to please follow. Follow so that you don't miss anything, because you have to remember that actually life is a spiral. It's not a circle. It doesn't just go round and round. It's a spiral. So you think that you've changed a lot, but again, you find yourself in this place. But I have to tell you that's not the case. You might be in a space that looks similar, but you've never been in this moment before. Even if something happens that reminds you of a past event, it's a new event. You have not had that event before. How can you know what you haven't had? You can expect it, but you don't know it. So if life is a spiral and you're accessing an event that looks similar, life is just saying, come on, you know what to do. We've given you the information, we've given you the help. Now put it into place, put it into practice. You know what to do, step over it. It's a bit like a game of Mario. You know, you have to go along that wall and pick up all the coins. If you get to the door and you've missed one, you can't get through. So you've got to go all the way back again, find that coin, find what it is that you missed, and then go all the way back again. Yes, now you can go through. And life is the same. We won't be able to find what it is that we want until we let go of what we do need, until we let go of what is old and stale, till we let go of our pain. You know, our first goal is to get you moving and feeling better as soon as possible. Really, really important. We need to get life working with you. It already is, but you're probably out of sync. But how do you know that? Well, I'll tell you how. Last time you wanted a new car, you pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to get the one that you wanted. Even if it was hard work, you did that. You're sitting in a new car, you loved it. 3 weeks later, something else dropped on your mat, or a leaflet came, or you saw an offer. Oh my word, that's exactly what I wanted, and a better price too. Can you see how pushing, yes, it does get you what you want, but it doesn't always get it in the way as easily as it would have done if you just waited with the universe. I mean, you can't sit on the sideline and say, I'm waiting for what I want to come along. That doesn't work either, because life works with those that help themselves. But you have to do it in tune with what's going on around you. We have to get you to understand and speak the language of life. Really, really important. It's the same as if you have a pain in your body. You know, you can take tablets, and sometimes the tablets help you overcome, but you have to know what the cause of that pain is, and you have to address it for it to be able to go away. Now, again, there's also 2 levels of this, because sometimes the pain that you carry could be an old memory linking in on an energetic level. Something that you're carrying that you don't need to. So then you have to look to say, well, actually, do I have a problem, or do I just think I have a problem, so I'm carrying that problem? Does that make sense? Exactly. And that's the same with our life as well. It's really important we begin to understand how we live it, how we use it, how it communicates and works and talks with us. You know, nature takes care of its own. But nobody told us we were part of nature. And even if they did, we wouldn't have understood it on the levels that we're speaking about now. Because if you only had the physical aspect of life open to you, and let's face it, even if you did have higher information and you've been working with the angels for years, you know, some of you out there, I know that you're healers and you're all sorts of things. But even you too, you are reaching a new level. Life has only given you what you needed to have so far to bring you to this place. Hands up if you recognize what I'm saying. Hands up if it applies to you. Yes. So once upon a time, you were ahead of your game. You were leading others, and you were ahead of everybody else. But now people are catching up, and you find that what you used to enjoy has just become mediocre. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you're bored. It's because life is trying to fast track you again to the new level, so that you're like a pioneer to run forward to then reach back and help everybody else off. Because the thing is, this is not just about our own growth. We could grow and grow and grow, but if we went too quick, excuse me, but if we went too quick, where are we going to go to? We'd be all by ourselves off on a tangent somewhere. So then who are we going to live with and work with and share with? Exactly. So step 2 is about understanding your life and yourself. Step 3 is about controlling influences. Let's see if we have some more information. Yeah, there we do. Controlling influences. So how free are you really to create and to be the true you? To be the truest version of who you really always knew you were, or even to discover what you didn't know you were. You know, when I started this work, goodness sake, I could never, ever, ever, ever have imagined it would be what it is today. And people say to me, well, aren't you proud? But the thing is, I haven't yet reached that place where I can be proud, because I still know how far I've got to go on my journey. It's the same as when you climb Everest. You've heard people say, if you make the top of that mountain your destiny, your goal, then you'll die, you'll never come down. Because you've actually got to make that the halfway point. The goal has to be to go up and come down again. And that's the same in this work and even in your own life. So if you're sitting in a place where you're proud, yes, you can be momentarily, but then get up and carry on, because what else is there left inside you to still bring forward? We can't waste a minute, an hour of this life that's so precious. I can't help saying that if I had another 100 years in the way that I'm going now, that would never be enough to achieve and do all that I would want to do, not just in terms of helping and producing this work, but to actually come back to a place of love where I'm enjoying my life, where I'm experiencing everything that there is to experience, just the wonder of being alive. You know, we're lucky that we can experience it through the TV and through the internet and through the memories of others. But do you know what? Something else happens when you experience it for yourself. So no, 100 more years isn't enough for me. I just pray that as long as I live, I will have my health so I can carry on. How strong is your past that you keep dragging it with you? How strong is that? What keeps you wishing you were still there so that you miss what's going on in the present? And again, we're back to that bus. We keep coming back to that bus. What does yours look like? I think mine looks a bit like a hippie bus at the moment. Lots of flowers. I've gone beyond the point where everything has to look pristine and wonderful. Yes, I like nice things just like everybody else. And I have to say, while we're talking about this, when I'm talking about myself, it's not that I'm talking about myself. I'm bringing it out in you. I'm hitting triggers in you. So rather than saying, oh, yes, you like nice things, da, 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 I put myself in that place so you can relate to me. So yes, I love the finer things in life. You know, I love good food. I love a nice car. I like a nice home. But there's also the side of me that begrudges paying more than I should when I look at places like in India and other countries where people have so little. And yes, there's a lot more to it than that. There's karma and all sorts of things going on in life. But even though while you look at that, you have to remember that they also took those lives not just for the sake of karma, but so the rest of the world can look on and say, how can we stop that? What can we do to prevent it? And we've gone beyond the point where we know it's not just all about throwing money. Systems have to be in place to make these things work. And when you're in a place of abundance, whether you're giving your money to charity, you know, to things like things I sponsor, or children in need, or, you know, charity begins at home. People around you, they need love and support. But again, it has to be from a higher perspective. If you're only looking from a physical level, you will spend your whole life trying to help. And you will rob yourself of things, but you will never achieve anything. You have to come in from a higher level to bring that help in, to bring in what's needed in tune with life so it works. There's no point throwing money at someone who doesn't know how to handle money, because they will always end up back where they were. You know, if you're a giver, you'll always give, but it's about giving in the right way, in a way that supports life, not leaves you feeling destitute and other people feeling like they're indebted to you. So here we go back again. Who controls your bus? Who drives and steers the real you? Even the things that we were just talking about, you can see how other influences already, whether they're physical or higher, are driving the things that we're talking about. But we also have to say, what are you afraid of? You know, such a big topic. I get people who come to see me at the shows, and they come to the shows. They've come to the show for a reason, whether it's just to be nosy and look around, whether it's just to support somebody who's coming, or whether they're feeling a bit inquisitive or they want a bit of help themselves. You get these people who you talk to, and it's almost like it's almost like you've burnt them. They step back and say, oh, no, I'm not into this and I'm not into that. They're so closed. Part of themselves are trying to open up, but the other part of themselves doesn't know how to do it. And we have like this inner war going on where we'll show the world what we show them, but then the rest of the stuff happens inside ourselves. We don't want people to see what we did here, and we don't want people to know that, and we don't want people to think that we're this person. And, so much goes on. So we're going to be looking at another time. What is it that you're afraid of? That will be in module 3 of our modules. And again, why do you repeat the same cycles? Repeat the same cycles. Okay. It's all about how you keep yourself locked in patterns that you don't need to. Really, really important. So, number 4, knowing how you love and how love and money are linked. Big one. Big one. How many of you here actually feel loved? How many of you feel recognized for who you are? And again, how many of you feel recognized and loved and understood by those you love, like your husband or your wife or your parents, even your children? Big one. And I tell you another big one. More for the boys, more for the men. Big one. Traditionally, a man is brought up that he has to be in charge. He has to be in charge of his destiny in his life. He's taught to push and shove and to build and grow. He measures himself by his success, by his work, his home, his family, his car. Social standing is important. That's one of the big things that we were handed down over the ages. The problem is, though, what happens to that man who has worked hard all of his life, who has given everything he could to the best of his ability, but his life is less than he thought it would be or should be? What happens to him? What happens to him when his friends come and his family come? And again, because he's so locked into providing, he gives and gives. But then the more he gives, he doesn't feel it's appreciated or his efforts are understood. We all know, whether we're talking about men or women, it doesn't matter if you're in a girl-girl relationship, boy-boy relationship, man-woman relationship. Relationships are relationships, and there's usually a masculine and a feminine. It doesn't matter which one you're coming from. You get feminine that are stronger than the masculine sometimes. So let's change this from the boys to the person who's the most masculine, either in the relationship or in the central family position or in the social position. What happens to those people when they give, but don't feel recognized or understood? It's not a pretty sight when you see someone feeling less than you know they are, feeling a lack of understanding and love when really it's there, because they can't see it, because it's beyond their scope of recognition. It's almost like needing your family to be like the Brady Bunch or the Waltons, or just two people happy together side by side, but never really getting there. And the only thing that's holding them back is their own impression of themselves and the life that they have. They don't understand that they're actually bringing these things outwards from within. They're deflecting it on those around them. My own husband, he was a good man. He was a good man. He's in the realms of spirit now. And I talk to him because I communicate on those levels. And the thing is, I asked him, I asked the higher people before that, just after I lost him, was there a time in his life that we could have prevented where he was? Because he lost sight of himself. He lost his confidence. He lost his way. And we hear about this often. It's called, we just call it the midlife crisis. And then people develop different ways physically to overcome that. Some people become younger than their years and try and recapture their youth. Some people completely change themselves and go off in another direction. It doesn't matter how we overcome it, as long as it works right for us. Remember, we're all individual. But going back to the story, the only time this could have been changed was many, many, many years ago, when different things that occurred within the story of that life could have been understood differently. But it's really important as well that you understand along the course of this life here, that where you are now is exactly where you were supposed to be. If you change a single thing, if you say to yourself, I wish this didn't happen, I wish I didn't go there, I wish I could have done this differently. And even now, as I'm talking, can you feel, I know that you can feel what I'm feeling. I can feel it in my chest, I can feel it in my stomach. It's an emotion. I can feel it, you can feel it. It's because we're touching real stuff here. If you change a single thing, you wouldn't be where you are now. You wouldn't be the person you are now. And I'm here to tell you, everything is as it was meant to be. Even the worst of the worst. Yes, maybe you could have overcome it sooner. Maybe you didn't have to take the long way round. But then that's what this webinar is about. This is what the modules that I've produced to help you are about. Really, really important. We'll talk more about the modules later. So at the moment, we're talking about how love and money are linked. Love is a commodity of life. Money is a commodity of life. But actually, love is the real commodity of life because it links in with your soul. That's why everybody is looking for it. That's why everyone is searching for it, because each soul is looking back to what it is fundamentally, to its own self. And that's actually what you're looking for when you're looking for relationships, when you're looking to see where you're connecting. So not everyone understands the connection. Not everyone feels loved or knows how to return love. And as we said earlier, it's the same about money. Do you let love or money control you? Do you know how to handle it and keep it when you've got it? Now, number 5 is about creating your abundance. It's about not only creating your abundance, but recognizing you're in it, but also knowing what to do about it. Now, here's the thing. Abundance is available to everyone because it's the very essence of life itself. It's part of one of the fundamental building blocks. We all deserve happiness, love, and abundance. Again, not because we're so great, but because we came here individually to explore and find them, to see where our happiness is. So it's about how you recognize and attract what you attract is unique to you. Also, does health, wealth, or happiness seem fleeting to you? Do you feel in a constant state of lack? We'll talk about that later. And how can you recognize and assist the neutral flow? How can you recognize and assist the neutral flow in your life, the natural flow? So let's recap. Excuse me, I've got a cough coming. Excuse me. So let's recap. Realization, understanding yourself, and awakening, understanding that you're part of a bigger thing called life and what it means personally to you. There's people out there that don't like what's going on in the world. There's people that don't like what's going on in their wider family or at work, but you can't stick your head in a bucket. You know, you're part of life whether you like it or not, and without knowing, you're contributing to it without knowing it. So it's about understanding you, outside influences and what you may or may not be afraid of, about wealth, love, health, resources that you need. None of those you can live without. Well, wealth you can, but then we're also talking about wealth of health, wealth of love, wealth of abundance, wealth of life, wealth of happiness. We're going to try to get you to write out your abundance check to attract what you need in your life to make it work better. Now, again, I'm going to ask you to please make sure you stay on till the end, because what we'll do is we may pull someone's name out of the hat and give them a free gift. So we'll see how we get on. I've given you a lot of information in this very short webinar. Time's going too quickly, but I hope that you'll implicate it and find it useful. Okay, let's have a look. So, how to relieve stress is a question that's just come up. Stress. Stress affects you, it affects your body, it affects the next thoughts you think and the next things you say and do. Stress happens at home and at work. So let's talk about work. You get up in the morning and you're feeling okay. You go to work, you're driving to work, you get to work, and all of a sudden somebody around you is in a bad mood. Or you thought that you knew that your day would be fine, but then all of a sudden something happens and throws a spanner in the works. Well, first of all, that spanner wasn't personal. Maybe that person really did need something that perhaps had a tighter deadline than you. So rather than fight against the current, discuss between you which is the most important. Excuse me again. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Okay, discuss between you. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. I think I'm doing quite well with this cough, you know. Can you hear how husky my voice is? Anybody who knows me normally, I don't speak this deep. Okay, so discuss between you which is most important. Don't just think in your head, grumble, 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 slam your pen down and storm off. Understand that actually sometimes things do come in. Discuss between you which is the most important, get it done, and then come back to your work. Stay balanced, stay peaceful, just to be focused in the now and attach to what's in front of you. If someone else is stressed around you and all of a sudden in the office everybody else is getting more and more wound up, it's about understanding that actually the driving factor might not be you and the stuff that's going on with you or the people around them. It could be that there's something else going on in their life, whether it's pressure from a higher level or something that's going on in their personal life that's driving it. So what you do is you just sit still in your space. Imagine you can place yourself in a bubble of energy, a bubble of light. Now, there might be people listening to this webinar that really don't connect to any other idea than what they can see, what they can touch is real. That's okay. It's not a problem, because at the end of the day, we're all individual. But I would say, please just try it. Please just be open to the possibility, and we've given you lots of information even so far in this little webinar that actually more exists to drive life than you realize. So if this is the very first time you've done it, just for a moment at your desk, just close your eyes, just for a moment, and imagine you can bring all your energy back into yourself. As you're doing that, you'll actually begin to see how far it is spread, how wide it's spread. You'll feel that based on how long it takes you to feel it coming in. And it stands to reason. If you're a tree with many, many wide branches, you're going to attract a lot more of the wind and the rain and the hail than you would if you were just a twig or just the center of the tree without any branches. So the smaller you make yourself, the less of the currents you're going to pick up around you. Imagine yourself in a ball of light. Make yourself tiny. Focus on your day. Get on with your stuff. At the same time, imagine you can talk to life. Say, listen, we need some help here. Excuse me again. Imagine you can talk with life and say, listen, we need some help here, please. I need you to help me focus to get on with what I need to do. I've got a busy schedule. I need to carry on. But look, what's going over there is nothing to do with me. So I pass it to you, because actually, if we're all part of life, I'm giving it back to you. Please help that person. Whatever is going on, recycle it, turn it round, make it tiny. Give them the help that they need, and imagine a ball of light, a bubble around them, and again, get on with what you're doing. Now, that might have just taken you seconds to do, but believe me, it will actually make a difference. It's the same as if someone is standing in front of you, a few feet or a few inches from your face, in a bad mood, sending all the energy over to you like a pressure cooker. If you're using this technique, even with your eyes open while you're standing in front of them, all of a sudden you'll see them fizzle down, and where they were shouting, they'll go, but there won't be any more force behind their words. So they'll walk off, slam the door, that's it, leaving you free to get on with what you need to do, and they will get on with what they have to do. Okay. So we'll perhaps have another question later on. So let's have a look here. Where are we now? If it's okay, so we've gone through what we can do to help you further yourself. So if it's okay, we'll show you the path to make this happen for you. We're trying to squeeze a lot into this space right now. So, there's a friend of mine. Do you recognize this lady? Yep, of course you do. Rachel Elnor. She was star of the Dragon's Den, and she was the one who birthed in the Red Letter Days. Now she works in this sort of way, mentoring other people. So we won't actually dwell on that too far, because again, this is about you. But it just shows, excuse me. But again, it just shows how many people are tapping into this that maybe you even knew and you hadn't realized. I mean, look at who's the man from Microsoft, Bill Gates. Him and his wife are going around the world giving away all their fortune. And I think I also heard a whisper that Richard Branson is starting to do the same. These people accumulated a lot of wealth by doing what they did so good. But then it gets to a point, what do you do with all this money? You know, there's only so many aeroplanes and helicopters you have. So what they're doing is they're giving it back into society. They're not even handing it out to their family, because they understand that their family have to earn their own to appreciate it. So they're coming back into a soul level, as we're helping you do too, to help you understand what you're part of, what you came here to achieve, and why. Okay, so stepping stones will bring change into your life. You're now going to receive the stepping stones yourself on how to change your life right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. This is not about you putting your happiness into the future. This is about you changing your life right now. And we have actually got people who are using this program, as my other one too, and it's bringing instant positive change that's really very shocking to many of them, because they didn't realize just what they did automatically. So the stepping stones are designed to tell you how to live the life you've always wanted, how to get it. Now, we need to just stay to the end. There's a little bit of stuff here. Some of you that have this module already, You may have already heard this, but also remember that one lucky winner will win my brand new book, a signed copy. So, life-changing stepping stones, how to live an amazing life. Now, what we've prepared are 8 full teaching exclusive life-changing modules. They're based on real life experience. We're bringing in higher information, healing, energies. You can't underestimate what you will receive from these. Now, as you've been hearing me speak earlier, you've been on the journey with me. You felt what I've felt. We've hit triggers. We've helped you feel your pain. As yet, you perhaps haven't begun to understand how the thoughts and the feelings and everything you are actually bring pain into your body, which bring more and more pain into your life, into your family, into the work. They help you stay in your lack rather than your abundance. So what we've done is we've made some modules that will help you change this. So we have 8 of them. Now, actually, they've been valued by a professional at $7,267. Now, this is incredible value. The value is worked out not only on the purchase of this, but on how long it takes to produce it and what you will get from it. So if we were to sell these at full price, they would be a combined rate at $7,267. But I'm also offering as well a 30-minute personal Skype session valued at $200. So this is a personal one-to-one with me. Now, some people are lucky enough to see me when I'm on my travels, but not everybody can do that. So that's why I've made myself available to use technology at its best. We can do it through Skype, or we can even do it over the telephone. If you have a landline, we can connect that way, or through the mobile. They have microphones and speakers, so we can connect that way. So even if you don't have Skype, it's not a problem. Okay, everybody has a house phone or a mobile phone. And also, we have an Inner Circle training membership program valued at $250. Okay, it's my own Inner Circle membership. It's how if you have a question or something, I can reply to you. So as much as I'm able to, based on my busy diary, I'll do my best to get to you as soon as I can to answer reasonable questions. So what we've done, we've got a total value here of this package at £7,717. I mean, really, I should make that 7,777 to bring in all the sevens, because 7's my lucky number. But here we are. We have a full value package here that is guaranteed to change your life. $7,717. Now, the thing is, these are life-changing stepping stones. There's testimonials all over the place. People have been coming to me for years, and that is the reason that I'm doing this work, to help you change your life, to get out of the depression, to get out of the pain, to get you working with life in a way that it works with you, so you can become the phoenix, the hybrid, so you can become what you were always supposed to be. You know, when we were small, weren't we promised a happy ever after if we were good people? And most of us are. And even when we're not, there's usually a reason behind it. You know, good things happen to bad people. Yes, there's lots of bad things out there too, but what we'll do is we'll help you work beyond that. So you've got a full support care package here, okay, of $1,500, a 30-minute Skype session or phone. We'll email support and we'll fast track your success. It sounds good. Okay, so here's what you'll get. Well, we won't go over that. We've done that already, but the total value is 9217. So again, lots and lots of testimonials here and on my website. I won't dwell on those because we did those earlier, and this is about you. This isn't about me. I've already proven how I can help you, but now we have to get down to why you should do this. What is it you want to achieve? What will you get out of it? So lots and lots of bonuses here. A divine guidance book, which we can send you. I've got an access to happiness course, some guide notes and all sorts of things here. So ask yourself, can you do this another way? Well, here's the thing. If you went to a one-on-one with someone like me, or even someone that wasn't me, not only would you have hotel, not only would you have a week out of work, not only would it cost you everything that you're doing, it would cost you a lot of money, and it would take a long time to cover everything that we're going to cover. So we've got a whole package here now valued at $10,224. But what I'm going to do now is make you an amazing offer. Your success is my success. I've given my life over to helping other people. Again, not because I'm so great, but because maybe one day when I go home to heaven, maybe I can see that the value of what I have done to help others, who will then go forward in their own unique way to help others. So it's like ripples on a pond. So my payback is I'll look back and I can see I've fulfilled my purpose. But you also have a purpose. And what we're trying to do is we're helping you understand and recognize that purpose. Even if you think you've been doing it for years, life could only give you so far what it has, because we spoke about levels. It couldn't push you too forward too fast because you would have stood by yourself. But the time is now. The time is now for your growth, and life needs you now to do that. So your success is my success. We've got lots of video testimonials. So again, your recommendation is important to me. My personal voyage to get life working better for more and more people, and to change lives of as many people as possible. But really, when you look at that, that's what you're doing too. Everything you do is to make others happy. The payback is it makes you feel good. That's why you do it. So we're aiming to get your life working better for you, so that you have more time to do the things that you need to do. So what I'm proposing to do here is, for the next 15 minutes, only for the next 15 minutes, we've got a special offer going on here for only $397. If you click on the link, you get the whole of this package for only $397. So again, we spoke earlier on of how much even a weekend workshop would cost, and it would cost way more than that. So for the next 15 minutes, find the link, click on it, and I promise that we will honor this for you. The first module will come out to you. We've got them up and running now. So they will come out in every 2 weeks. You'll receive the next one and the next one, purely to give you the time you need to do it, but also to process and digest the information. This is not about you rushing. This is about you working in tune with your own life, with your needs and commitments, but also growing and allowing your pain line to fall down, to recognize what needs adjusting, and to allow your body and your soul and your energies to adjust on that higher level. So this is about helping you love better, to feel freer, to not stress so much, to be able to focus more, to be more productive at work without more effort, because what we're teaching you is to work with life easier with less effort from yourself, not more. At the moment, everybody wants more. There's only so much you can do before you're going to pop. How much longer are you going to carry on the way that you are? When will you finally learn this is your life too, and you have to live it? But the thing is that we love so much, we can't say no. But it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get you back to that space where actually you'll feel like I will, that another 100 years is not long enough. You'll be able to help people from a higher level and to bring them up where you are, not you go down to their pain. So click on the link. I think we've actually got some people already doing that. Lovely. $397 for this really, really, really powerful program. Please don't underestimate it. This is work on a soul level. This is you fine-tuning your life, your energies, and what you will leave behind you in your wake before your life is over and you don't get a chance to change anymore. Look at what's going on around you at the moment. People are dying more now than they have before. But it's not just the ill and the old that are dying. It's young people out of sync are having their lives snatched away from them in ways that we didn't even expect. Right now, all sorts of things are happening, and we can't afford for our life right now to stop, to stand at those gates and say, right, this is it. This is what life meant to be. Because if that happened to you today, I'll guarantee you what the stickers you've placed on your life are really not what you think your life is. It's more. You are more. And life is trying to bring you into that space of abundance, of love, of feeling great and popping, and you come back to who you were always meant to be. So, I think, do we have time for another question? No, I don't think we do. Well, here's the thing. Time has run away with us. It's been much too quick. We can carry on all night, but you've got things to do. So I'm going to say thank you to you guys in front of me for coming here to meet me. Thank you to everyone at home for taking time out of your busy life to just even sit and listen to this. But most of all, I want to say thank you to those people who are just open to the possibility that more exists. I want to say that I think that the link is still running at the moment. So if you feel that you are in a place that you would like to get these modules, it will be not just because I said so, it will be the best money that you've ever spent. It will be the best money you've ever spent. Now I'm just having a flag waved in front of me. Our winner today of the sign book is Liz. So what we'll do is Liz will send you an email so that you know it's you. I will need, please, your contact details. I'll need your address and your email address of where to send it to. So congratulations and well done. Now, if all goes to plan, I think there'll be another webinar again soon. So watch out for that, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye.